You want something that is able to play pretty quickly, but very resilient towards removal, right? You kind of want like an aggro deck that doesn't over rely on 1 health units. And that's kind of the idea with this one, right? Like that's part of the idea here. We have the Undying and it's like, it's giving like a partial synergy, but that's kind of like the main focus behind this list, is that it is, at the end of the day, it's aggressive enough to be able to beat Karma Ezreal. It's not a bad list, it's solid on its own, and it has units that are tanky enough to be able to beat Karina. Because like, as long as you don't fold to Whale, you can actually kind of just like power down Karina pretty quickly. This deck is aggro, right? It's a little blurry. I mean, I'm using, you know, Undying and single combat. Single combat, it's not like it disqualifies it from being an aggro deck. It's not like super absolutely all in everything at face aggro, but yeah, it's definitely aggro. Yasuo. So I don't think I like Glimpse in this matchup unless I have something I want for it. I don't really like keeping Kalista in my opening hand. Although Yasuo can't really answer Kalista that well, honestly, right? I guess they always play like Arachnoid Sentry and then threaten to block her out. I feel like this deck makes me mulligan a Kalista a lot. Why does Kalista feel so bad, dude? And then there's Stirred Spirits. I think I can keep Stirred Spirits in a matchup where he can't really punish my unit for having 2 health. If this was like P and Z, I couldn't ever keep this card, I think. Well, I'd be digging for like Elise at that point.
Thanks for the amazing content, man. Watch every YouTube video. Just curious, is there any Poro deck right now that is remotely competitive?
Don't let the fluffy tails fool you.
Depends what you mean by remotely. I think it's inadvisable, I would say. Your best bet, I don't know, Gummy was messing around with one. I don't remember exactly what it looked like. Someone in chat might actually have Gummy's Poro meme deck. It would probably be something like closer to that than anything else. But yeah, it's definitely not power archetype. This is a fairly sick attack. There's an interaction where you can like Stirred Spirits the Spider, because at least summon Spider first and then Spirits buffs it. And part of why that's nice is because if he goes in to do something weird, Spider can single combat. Mostly, you're just getting like a bit of pressure. It's kind of hard for him to really respond to too much here. I think I actually kind of have a free single combat into the Blade Twirler, but I'll do it post-combat. So, the question is, would I want to keep the Spider or send 3 in? I think he has good blockers for this Spider anyway, so I'm just going to do this anyway. The thing to understand about Stirred Spirits plus Elise is that it probably seems... It seems like it's a little weird that you're killing the Spider on purpose. And you don't really even have a choice. Elise is the one board state where you can't just put Spirits on the right side and have it not do anything at all. It will always kill the Spider or one of your units. The thing is though, the Spider from Elise is like often not really a unit. And this is why Elise is a pretty different card from say House Spider. It's like she can only summon the Spider when it's attacking. So in reality, the opponent usually just blocks it and tanks 1. Instead of a Spider, it's just kind of like your opponent chooses which unit wants to take 1 damage. Like take this board state. He had Shadow Assassin and he had Blade Twirler. The Spider's never gonna live. It's just gonna deal 1 damage to whichever of those units he chooses, right? So at least plus Stirred Spirits is kind of cute. It's basically your threat of the 1 damage that's forcing their block becomes 3 instead. They're both almost in their way ephemeral, right? Because they have to block the, or they don't have to block the Spider, but if they can, they almost always do. His deck can't really threaten units at 1 health without Katarina version, so I think blocking this is pretty safe. What is this attack? What am I not thinking of? Why would he attack here? Am I stupid? Why can't I block with Elise like this? Brothers Bond? His deck can't run Brothers Bond. Can it? I don't think it can. Twin Disciplines? Oh, I'm fine with that if he's gonna use Twin Disciplines. That's a really expensive way to kill my Elise. I'm super happy with that. Great. He just played like a 2/2 and a 3-mana spell to kill my Elise. Sick value. So we're probably gonna have to like do a weird keeper X this turn into Remitter. Our hand just improved a bit. Oh man, you could chronicler the Wraith Caller, get another Mist Wraith, get some aggression, but then you're kind of making your keeper sort of garbage. I do want to develop into this attack. I don't think he's gonna be threatening me too much. Would he have played Arachnoid Sentry on 3? It's like I played Elise and he played Shadow Assassin instead. He's drawn 3 cards since then. You would always play Arachnoid Sentry there if you had it. I think we can develop into this attack with Chronicler. Keeper Mark. I don't like Keeper Mark. I just want to take the aggressive Chronicler and then do like Keeper Remitter on it later. This is a very aggressive play. The thing to understand is I'm actually really concerned about slow playing this game. Like, look at my hand. My hand doesn't go late. We have no draw. We have like no tricks. Our Withering Wail is going to be pretty bricked in this matchup. Like, Withering Wail pretty much exists for like the Karina matchup and like mid-range mirrors. He's like the control version of the deck. He's not running Ionia. So he top decked the Sentry off the left side. He's not running the like Katarina meme. He's like actually like running a good Yasuo deck. He's running the control deck. And he's got a wide hand. I'm pretty scared of taking this game to the late game. So I think like taking an aggressive line here is probably just best. Chill, you have the power of top deck. I mean, sometimes with top decks you just gotta believe, but here, I just need to apply pressure. This game is on a clock. It's like, if I can kill him on my next attack, I'm feeling very good about myself. The one awkwardness is, you can be hard-pressed to develop into 7 against Yone. I might actually get like a whale here. Not a good whale. And this whale does pretty much nothing. The damage to these units doesn't affect anything because it can't really kill them. His 2/2 can't block my fearsomes, but it can block other things. He doesn't really have anything that scales with his unit count. There's no reason I have to trade these off specifically. There's nothing I'm looking to devalue on my own end either. If I top deck something like Cythria, I lose value off of blocking this House Spider. I think the correct block just looks something like this. I think blocking the 3 attack one makes sense. The House Spider is probably just a little under the point of making sense though. Committing myself to Whale also does pretty much nothing. Again, he can't really deal 1 damage very easily here. So this Whale I think is kind of just gonna be blanked out. That's very interesting. Well, I mean, I can kill it with Mark. It's not the worst Mark ever. The fact that he's doing that is like, it's kind of, in a way good for me. It's a bit of a sign of desperation. Yeah, I mean, Mark is worth killing off that unit. I think it kind of has to be. And then we'll just develop the second keeper. And at that point, we're gonna have to develop into his attack. Or his block. And that's the scary thing because he could have Yone. I think Yone is actually more of a scare card than anything else. Yone is kind of like shark attacks. It's like, statistically they don't really happen. They happen less than fucking like cow attacks or whatever. I forget. There's a meme people say. It's kind of like, people are just afraid of them because of the movies. Because you watch like streams and sometimes you get Yona'd. But usually the Yone doesn't really actually happen. It's just like, because the thing is, these decks usually run 2 Yone. Yeah, that's pretty sick. How did I do that? Usually these decks are only running like 2 Yone and then mulligan it away. Still full attack. I mean, it's a pretty good 4-drop. Oddly enough, we're having some strange double whale value. Like, we can maybe pick up the Yone with this. Huh, that's a pretty sick top deck too. Yeah, I'll just do it. Oh yeah. Oh, it's so juicy. Out of Deny. Oh, unbelievable. Give it up. Mmm. Oh, yeah. Man, that feels good. I didn't even need this crowd favorite. Oh! It's a game. But yeah, don't worry about Yone too much. I think like that's kind of a large part of how Karma Ezreal wins. I think there's a lot of players that are too scared of Yone. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of board states where you do have to respect Yone, but reasonably speaking, I think a lot of people need to learn when they have to just develop into like 7 or 8, and if they have Yone, then that's bad, but it's like you just need to have the aggression there. It's like the odds.